The world often celebrates the freedom of sexual expression, yet the Bible offers wisdom and warnings about the dangerous nature of lust, fornication, and cheating. Scriptures are not seeking to stifle joy, but to protect us from the profound consequences that can follow. In the pages of the Good Book, we find guidance that goes beyond mere rules. Corinthians 6:18 reminds us, "Flee from sexual immorality." Every other sin a person commits is outside the body, but the sexually immoral person sins against his own body. So why does God lay down these guidelines? It's not about control, but care. Just as a loving parent sets boundaries to keep their child safe, God, in His infinite love, guides us away from the pitfalls that can accompany unchecked desires. Join us as peel back the layers to understand why the Bible addresses these aspects of human behavior with such gravity. The deceptive allure of lust. In the Bible, the consequences of giving into lust play out vividly in the stories of our forebears. Take the story of David and Bathsheba, for instance. David, a man after God's own heart, fell prey to the allure of his desires. In 2 Samuel 11, we see how his impulsive actions not only led to the destruction of a marriage, but also had far-reaching consequences, including the loss of a child. It's a stark reminder that even the strongest can stumble when entangled in the web of unchecked desires. These ancient stories, however, are not mere relics of a bygone era. The core issues remain unchanged today: the intoxicating allure of lust and its potential to destroy lives. Satan, the master of deception, exploits our natural and God-given desires, turning them into destructive forces. Just as he tempted Jesus in the desert, he continues to whisper suggestions into our ears, encouraging us to prioritize immediate gratification over long-term fulfillment. The Garden of Eden provides another important example. The serpent's cunning manipulation of desire led to the fall of humanity. In Genesis 3, we see how the pursuit of forbidden knowledge and desires shattered the innocence of Eden. The deceptive allure of lust, then, is not confined to the pages of the Bible, but is part of our everyday lives. It's a reminder that the battleground against unchecked desires transcends time and culture. As we reflect on these examples, let's consider their resonance in our own lives. How often do we find ourselves enticed by the allure of momentary pleasure, only to realize the lasting repercussions? In the face of these challenges, the Bible provides not only warnings, but also a path to redemption. In 1 Corinthians 10:13, we find reassurance. No temptation has overtaken you that is not common to man. God is faithful, and He will not let you be tempted beyond your ability, but with the temptation, He will also provide the way of escape, that you may be able to endure it. This verse reminds us that while temptation is a universal experience, God's faithfulness offers a way out, an escape route from the destructive path that lust can lead us down. Love versus lust. Let's now turn our attention to the stark contrast between love and lust, a theme that keeps appearing throughout the Scriptures. The Bible provides clear distinctions between love and lust, offering clear insights into the nature of these emotions. In 1 Corinthians 13, often referred to as the love chapter, we find an important description of the characteristics of true love. It speaks of patience, kindness, selflessness, and a love that endures through all circumstances. This biblical definition sets a standard, a blueprint for the kind of love that transcends fleeting desires and builds the foundation for lasting, meaningful relationships. Lust, on the other hand, with its impulsive and self-gratifying nature, decays the foundations of genuine, lasting relationships. It's a force that prioritizes the physical over the emotional, the immediate over the enduring. The Bible doesn't shy away from illustrating the dire consequences that can unfold when lust takes precedence over love. The story of Samson and Delilah, for instance, serves as a cautionary tale about the destructive power of lust. Samson, a man gifted with incredible strength, fell victim to his unchecked desires, leading to his downfall. Delilah, driven by deceitful intentions, exploited Samson's weakness, tampering with his strength and bringing about tragic consequences. we're confronted with the reality that our choices in matters of the heart have profound implications. Lust may offer momentary pleasure, but it withers in comparison to the enduring fulfillment that true love brings. The Bible invites us to reflect on our own lives, prompting us to discern whether our actions and motivations align with the selfless and enduring love outlined in 1 Corinthians 13, or if we are entangled in the web of fleeting desires that lead to heartache. The wisdom of the Scriptures doesn't impose restrictions on our emotions, but rather provides a roadmap for building relationships grounded in love, respect, and commitment. To understand the weight of this topic, we turn to the pages of the Bible, which reveals the consequences of straying from the path of fidelity. Infidelity, a betrayal that strikes at the core of trust, has far-reaching repercussions, as we see in the story of Hosea. In this biblical account, Hosea, a prophet, is instructed by God to marry Gomer, a woman prone to unfaithfulness. Despite Gomer's repeated betrayals, Hosea's love remains steadfast, a reflection of God's enduring love for his people. The brokenness of Hosea's family becomes a living metaphor for the fractures that infidelity introduces into the sacred bonds of marriage. We can almost feel the emotional toll of cheating here and in the lived experiences of individuals and families throughout history. The pain of betrayal, the shattering of trust, and the erosion of the emotional fabric that binds families together are all too real. The consequences extend beyond the immediate act of infidelity, shattering the hearts and minds of those affected. There's also the story of Joseph and Potiphar's wife in the book of Genesis. Driven by lust, she attempts to seduce Joseph, who rejects her advances. In her desperation, she falsely accuses Joseph of wrongdoing, leading to his imprisonment. This tale emphasizes the collateral damage that can result from the intertwining of lust and deceit. An innocent man's life seized, trust shattered, and relationships strained. These stories urge us to contemplate the real-world implications of our actions. The gravity of sexual sin lies not only in the physical act, but in the emotional havoc it wreaks on individuals and families. It disrupts the harmony of homes, fractures the trust that binds spouses, and leaves a trail of heartache that extends far beyond the immediate transgression. Sexual sin is not merely a moral transgression, but a profound disturbance to the balance of human relationships. The Bible, in its wisdom, doesn't condemn for the sake of judgment, but illuminates the consequences of straying from the path of righteousness. It calls us to consider the ripple effect of our choices on human connections. As we grapple with the question of how dangerous sexual sin truly is, let us not approach it with a sense of condemnation, but with a sober acknowledgement of its potential impact. Let us reflect on the wisdom embedded in the Scriptures and strive for relationships founded on fidelity, trust, and enduring love. God's rules for sex. Before we continue, if you have found this video meaningful so far and wish to continue this journey of understanding, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. By doing so, you ensure you don't miss out on future discussions and reflections on topics rooted in biblical wisdom. Now, let's unravel God's rules for sex, a subject often laden with societal norms and personal beliefs. In the sacred text, sex is portrayed as a deeply intimate and profound act, reserved for the confines of marriage. The Song of Solomon, a poetic celebration of love and desire, offers a glimpse into the beauty of marital intimacy, affirming the sacredness of this union. The Bible, in its wisdom, outlines clear prohibitions on adultery and fornication. The Ten Commandments, foundational principles for righteous living, include the straightforward command, "You shall not commit adultery," Exodus 20:14. This directive focuses on the sanctity of the marital bond, emphasizing the importance of fidelity within the covenant of marriage. Paul, in his teachings, further expounds on the significance of sexual purity. In 1 Corinthians 6:18, he advises, "Flee from sexual immorality. Every other sin a person commits is outside the body, but the sexually immoral person sins against his own body." These words carry the understanding that sexual sin bears a unique weight, impacting not only our relationships with others, but also our own well-being. God's rules for sex are not arbitrary restrictions imposed to limit our pleasure. Instead, they serve as a compass, guiding us toward a path of fulfillment and righteousness. The boundaries set forth in the Scriptures are not designed to suspend joy, but to protect us from the potential harm that can accompany unchecked desires. Ways to fight the temptation. But how can we resist the allure of temptation and stay on the path of righteousness? The Bible offers practical guidance, and one powerful tool is prayer. Turning to God in prayer opens a channel for strength beyond our own, as seen in Matthew 26:41, where Jesus advises, "Watch and pray, that you may not enter into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak." Fasting is another spiritual discipline that strengthens our resolve. By abstaining from physical nourishment, we redirect our focus towards spiritual nourishment, enhancing our ability to resist sinful desires. Ecclesiastes also 4:9-10 affirms the strength found in supportive relationships. Two are better than one because they have a good reward for their toil. For if they fall, one will lift up his fellow. But woe to him who is alone when he falls and has not another to lift him up. These practical steps serve as potent weapons against the allure of temptation. We've talked about the dangers of lust, the contrast between love and lust, the deep consequences of sexual sin, and the guidance provided by God's rules for sex. Now, reflect on your own life and relationships, and recognize the potential for growth and transformation. Thank you for joining us on this enlightening journey. If you found value in these discussions, see the next video, which is another compelling biblical topic to help you grow in faith.